All right, welcome everyone. Today we'll be talking about the Nigerian entrepreneurial environment. To do justice to this concept, we should first define the terms entrepreneurs, entrepreneurship, development, and entrepreneurship development. After that, we can then discuss entrepreneurship as a business activity, describe an entrepreneur as an investor, and explain certain key concepts as they relate to entrepreneurship development. How entrepreneurship contributes to a country's gross domestic product and gross national product will also be discussed. Of course, if we exhaust these definitions and explanation, we should be at the beginning of understanding entrepreneurial environment, meaning that we have other concepts and other things to discuss going forward. All right, who is an entrepreneur? Scholars have described an entrepreneur as the person who makes money by starting or running businesses, especially when this involves taking financial risk. We've talked about this before in other videos. Other scholars have defined an entrepreneur as someone who shifts economic resources out of an area of uh, lower productivity into an area of higher productivity and greater yield. So, noticeably, we can see from this little definition scholars have preferred that these definitions have two aspects. First, there are resources that undergo manipulation, and secondly, there are activities that seek to attain higher productivity and greater yield. And the person that manipulates them is an entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is someone who sees changes or who sees change as normal and healthy. Usually, the entrepreneur does not bring about change. Rather, he searches for change and responds to it and exploits it as an opportunity. Entrepreneurs are characterized by the need to be independent, creative, creating value, to contribute to family and society, and to become rich, or quite often, not to be unemployed, that is, to get themselves engaged. Potential entrepreneurs display initiatives and ambition. They have business sense and foresight, all right, and are decisive. They are agents of change who accelerate the generation and application and spread of innovation or innovative ideas. The entrepreneur brings to light a differentiator, all right, something unique which represents value in the eyes of the buyer or consumer. The idea is that the person at the helm of affairs or the person that is at the helm of the business should consider the organization as an operation or operating under a process designed to provide value to the consumer. So his concept, his initiative, his direction, his managing of resources is targeted at providing value for the consumer or the customer who is supposed to patronize him or her. Now, when all these aspects of businesses are geared towards achieving this goal of providing value for customers and or a perception of value for customers, then such an organization is an entrepreneurial organization or represents entrepreneurship. All right. So, what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship, according to the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, in their document of 1999, define entrepreneurship as the process. Please note the word process as the process of using initiative to transform business concept to new ventures, diversifying existing ventures or enterprise to high growing venture potentials. Now, when we say entrepreneurship is a process, it infers that it is not an act that is a one off stuff. No, it's a process, taking step by step processes to achieve something. All right. So the United Nations Development Program in their document of 2010 also defined entrepreneurship as the process of using private initiative to transform a business concept into a new venture or to grow and diversify an existing venture or enterprise with high growth potentials. So you see that these definitions keep pointing entrepreneurship to be a process, keep pointing entrepreneurship to be a process. So entrepreneurship is a process, and which is noteworthy at this point for us to point out that entrepreneurship is a process, while the entrepreneur is a person. All right, it's a person. So another scholar, Shane, 2010, defines entrepreneurship as the act of being an entrepreneur, which can be defined as one who undertakes innovations, finances, and displays business acumen in an effort to transform innovations into into economic goods. So it's important you understand that entrepreneurship is a derivative word from entrepreneur. This may result in a new organization. This entire thing may result in a new form coming up with a new organization, or it may be part of the revitalization or revitalizing mature organizations in response to perceived opportunity. So we have another author that has delved into the concept of entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship, Joseph Sean Peters. He is an Australian economist, and he sees entrepreneurship as a concept of innovation, such as new product, new production method, new market, new forms of organization. So, wealth is created when such innovation results in new demand. Entrepreneurship is therefore a process which involves the creation of an innovative economic organization for the purpose of gain or growth under conditions of risk, uncertainties, and so on. Now, let's define the concept development. Development has been described as the act or process of growth, progress, and improvement within a physical setting. Development has also been defined as a gradual growth of something so that it becomes more advanced and stronger. All right. Now, um, having discussed or defined the concept of an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship, development, and so on, it's important that we define what is entrepreneurship development. Recently and observably too, in developing countries like Nigeria, the primary barrier to economic growth is often not so much with scarcity of capital, labor, or land. Of course, you know the factors of production is the entrepreneur, capital, labor, and land. It's not the scarcity of these things, but it is the scarcity of both the dynamic entrepreneurs that can bring these factors together, and the market mechanism that can facilitate them in a particular task. So in our recent definition of entrepreneurship, and development, it's important that we try to pick out some of the unique things that can or unique variables from them that can help us define entrepreneurship development. UNDP defines entrepreneurship development as the process of enhancing entrepreneurial skills and knowledge through structured training and institution building programs. It is also suggested, or the UNDP also suggests, that entrepreneurship development aims to enlarge the base of entrepreneurs in order to hasten the pace at which new ventures are created. This accelerates employment generation and economic development. Entrepreneurship development focuses on the individual who wishes to start or expand a business. Entrepreneurship development concentrates more on the growth potentials and innovation. Like, for example, the federal government of Nigeria recently recognized the role of entrepreneurship and its vital position in jumpstarting the growth and development of the economy uh, of the country, and as such decided that decided on two things in 2009. Yes, yes. One of them is that entrepreneurship education should be made a general studies course for all undergraduates of the tertiary institution. The second was that a center for entrepreneurship development be established in each of the tertiary institutions where different skills will be taught. Now let's talk about entrepreneurship as a business activity. Earlier, we described entrepreneurship to include the activities of entrepreneurs guide towards identifying an innovative idea, to seize an opportunity, mobilize money and manage skills, and to take calculated risk to open markets for new products, processes, and services. Of course, a business comprises of all the activities of an individual, group of individual, or organization targeted at and distributing goods and services to customers. Therefore, we can at this point safely say that an entrepreneur or a business organization wants to identify the needs, wants, goals, values, and so on of potential and prospective businesses or buyers or consumers with a view of the view to develop a product or service that would be tailored to satisfying these needs, wants, goals, values, and so on of these customers. The business of an entrepreneur therefore involves the following activities: one, producing goods and services; two, activities that add value to the goods and services that are produced; three, resources used by the businesses around producing goods and services. Now, let's explain these terms. When we say business of an entrepreneur involves producing goods and services, we simply mean that an entrepreneur's business can include provision of goods and services to consumers or customers. This may include goods like maybe phones, laptops, some radios, a radio set, clothes, computers, bags, and so on. While services may include educational services, consulting services, consulting in an hospital, and so on and so forth. When we say businesses, our business of an entrepreneur involves activities that add value to goods and services. What do we really mean? We simply mean that an entrepreneur's business can include provision of various activities before goods and services get to the consumer's doorstep. And these activities include organizing, managing, producing, marketing. By organizing, what do we mean? Someone will be in charge of organizing human and material resources to provide products. By managing, what do we mean? Someone will be in charge of managing finances, human resources, production, so that the business can run smoothly. By producing, what do you really mean? By producing and marketing, what do you really mean? Uh, someone has the responsibility to see to it that business produces those physical items that the consumer needs. When we say that the business of an entrepreneur involves resource used by the businesses, we simply mean that an entrepreneur's business can include a combination of resources to enable the production of goods and services, as mentioned earlier. These are resources that businesses will use include human resources like salesmen, accountants, managers, and so on. Raw materials for production and so on are what we are talking about. Now, what is the characteristics of a business? What is the characteristics of a business? Business has some or all of these characteristics we're about to list. One, exchange. For every business, there must be exchange of goods and services for money. Number two, profit motive. For every business activities undertaken, it is for profit making motive. However, profitable organizations and some corporations are established to provide services. All right. Now, number three, dealing in goods and services. Every organization that is business oriented must produce goods and services. Number four, uncertainty and risk bearing. Every business undertaking must take risk, and there is always uncertainty. Uncertainty may arise as a result of competition, unethical decisions, and so on and so forth. Number five, regularity. A business undertaking must be regular in its activities. Now, objectives of a business. Number one, profit. Every business organization seeks to make profit. That's one of the objectives. Number two, survival. Every business organization must have a goal to continue to survive or exist. Number three, growth. A business must not only survive, but it must have uh, a goal of growth from level to level. Number four, market share. Apart from growth, every business must strive to gain greater control in its market space in terms of market coverage and patronage of its products and services. Number five, productivity. Every business must continue to produce. That is not a given. Number six, innovation. Business must try to see that it's the first and best to bring up new ideas. Number seven, employees' welfare. Business must maximally want to take care of its workers. And number eight, apart from taking care of its workers, service to consumers. Businesses must strive to provide services to consumers. Consumer satisfaction is another objective of any business concern. And number nine, social responsibility. Apart from the rest of number 1 to 8, which we just explained, the objectives of number 1 to 8, which we just explained now, every business must do other things that people around that business must benefit from. So, at this point, let's talk about entrepreneurs as investors. It's important to know that an investor is someone who spends his energy, time, effort, financial resources, and so on something he considers to be good or useful in anticipation that it will yield a benefit and bring a profit or bring something that is of gain. So, from this definition or explanation of what an investor is, an entrepreneur is an investor, as he or she fulfills all an investor is noted to do. He puts his time, he puts his energy, he puts his efforts, he puts his financial resources to bring about some kind of benefits. Okay, at this point, let's talk about key concepts around the concept of entrepreneurship. Let's start with goods and services. We had earlier referred to goods and services as consumable items by the prospective or potential buyer or consumer. For example, goods and services are like handsets, laptops, bags, shoes, cars, and services include things like educational services, hospital, clinic, consultation, services of a traveling agency, and so on. So, entrepreneurship is involved with goods and services. One concept that is related to entrepreneurship. Another concept that is related to entrepreneurship is the GDP. We mentioned it as we made an introduction to this teaching session. The GDP. GDP simply means gross domestic product. This is defined as the market value of all goods and services produced in an economy within a given period, usually 1 year plus income earned locally. Another concept that's related to entrepreneurship is the gross national product. This is defined as the value of all final goods and services produced in specific periods within a year, including income earned from abroad. How Let's talk about how entrepreneurship may contribute to GDP and GNP. The entrepreneurship, or let us call it entrepreneurship, contributes to the economy through goods and services produced for which they are paid for by consumers or customers through generation of economic activities such as buying, selling, marketing, payment of tax to government, undertaking corporate social responsibility to various stakeholders within the community in which the enterprise is operating. And by so doing, they contribute to the gross domestic product and to the gross national product. Okay, at this point, I believe that we have set the pace. We have set the pace for understanding entrepreneurial environment. Of course, we have not done justice to it totally, but we have set the pace. We can start from here and we'll move to something else. Now, all right, next we'll be talking about the characteristics, advantages, and role of entrepreneurship in economic development. All right, thank you for listening. If you have not subscribed to my channel, do well to subscribe. Click the notification button when you subscribe. Share this video if you think it is useful. Thank you for listening.